Hello and welcome back to awtoolbox.com. My name's Glenn Keller, and in this video we have stepped into the searching and indexing section of the What's New guide, and we're just going to talk about a couple of different enhancements to searching and indexing in Active Workspace. So the first thing that we want to talk about is that the requirement of a full index. So perform a required full index to accommodate the solar upgrade. In 2412, basically the solar server was upgraded to 960, and you can see that right here inside of my installation. It changes the schema, and it basically requires you to re-merge the solar and Teamcenter schemas and requires a full reindex. So if you're upgrading to Teamcenter 2412, you'll need to come into the solar folder in a command prompt and perform that full reindex. So here is your merge script, the TC schema to solar schema transform, and I'll walk you through the motions of this real quick. So I'm going to open up a command prompt, just an administrative command prompt. I'm going to CD to that location, run a TC merge to my CApps Siemens Teamcenter 14 TC data location, FTSI, and solar schema files. So when I do this, it'll update those. Now mine may not all the way copy because I've left things open. Once you've done this, you do need to restart your solar server, and then you can CD back to the TC FTS indexer bin directory and say run and -task equals obj data, and then clear to clear that out. And then once that's done, you'll choose option 4 on that clear, and then you'll run an index to fully index the system. Just note that once the index is done, you will need to run a sync with an interval or start up your service to get that to apply. So with that comes the added ability to create advanced search queries using Query Builder and Active Workspace. So we have finally hit the point where Query Builder is going to be available or begin to be available, and you can see that definition is right here. So Query Builder is one of those last hangouts that was getting pulled in from the rich client into here. Reports, we've seen kind of the buildup of the report interface over time. But Query Builder is right here, and you can access all of your queries that you had in the system the same way that you could do in the rich client. When you select a query or you want to build one, you can see your entries for the queries are down below. And then down on the right hand side, you can see the add or delete query options. So if I wanted to, I could come in here and say new and create a report or generate a report. I could choose edit, and notice this isn't really applying to this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to deselect, and on the left hand side is the create query. So I'm going to say create the query. I'm going to call this test query, and I'm going to pick a search type, which is the type of object. I'm going to say item. So I'm going to search for all items in the system and hit create. So once that creates, then I can define it, and I can hit add clause to add a clause to the table. Once I come over to that, I can then see that full tree that we're used to seeing inside of the Teamcenter environment, the item properties. So I've got display names on now. I can switch to internal names. I can go type properties or all properties. You could get revision rules if you had selected a revision type. And then I want to see creation date. So I'll hit add. And you'll see that it adds to the table on the left-hand side. So now I can say the creation date is equal to or greater than or equal to. And then in the date field, I get the little widget pop up, and I want it to be greater than yesterday. And then if I do that, I can close my add clause panel, save my query, and I've got it locked in. Now I can come in to my advanced search across the top, and I can pull this down, and I should have my test query listed in the list. So now I can see the definition and I can hit search to find any data that was created yesterday. In this case, nothing was created yesterday, so I can pick today and I can hit search to validate that maybe it might pull something up. So today we actually got some population in here and some data does come back. So Query Builder being added in is a huge thing in this version of the software. It really mitigates how much dependency we have on that rich client build. So in addition to that, we can use natural language to actually find data using the global search. So in the global search across the top, we used to have to do things that are very unnatural. So something like putting quotes around things or doing something like that. So we used to say item revision and date modified. And then we could put like colon and a bracket 2024. And there was a very specific syntax to get that to come back. Now what we can do is we can say my released item revisions modified from January to September of this year. If I hit enter on that, you'll see that it tries to run a query against that entry. Now, they say that inside of the help that it follows a difference in the syntax and just kind of reads some of the things that you had put in there. So I'm going to say released revisions this year. Nothing. I'm going to say working revisions this year. And I get nothing. So play around with this one. I'm not really getting a lot of feedback from it. I could still do name colon star test star. And I could still get that format to work. But the new format, for me at least, it's going to take a little practice to get used to. We can view the results of file contents embedded in like the AI chat if we want to. So there's been some enhancements to that. Take a look at future videos for AI chat. Refine the search results by adding subgroup names to the group IDs. So just to add a subgroup name, I don't have any in here, but you could do engineering.us and that'll add the subgroup for you. So that'll do that type of a search now. And that pretty much wraps up the search and indexing components. The biggest key there is obviously Solr being upgraded in this new upgrade and you having to re-index, though the index process is a lot quicker than it used to be. And then obviously Query Builder, which a lot of us have been waiting on to hit that Active Workspace environment. Thanks for joining us in this video, and we'll be moving off into installation and deployment next.